Hello and welcome back to the MMA Split Pick Show for UFC Vegas at the Apex, headlined by Mackenzie Dern, taken on veteran of the strawweight division, Angela Overkill Hill, in what is, in my honest opinion, a pretty fucking disappointing card, as I swear to immediately screw up the algorithm in the first 60 seconds. To talk about it, still give our picks and predictions because we do this every single week. I'm the host Matt, joined by host and producer Josh. If you tell me your excitement level for this card is anything higher than a 7, I won't believe you.
Oh no, yeah, 5.
It's another... We should have had this fight. The main event was meant to be on the card we've just watched. And it's been pushed back, main evented, which happens to Angela Hill a lot. She falls into more main event slots than most fighters get given.
They like her. She doesn't really turn down fights. She came in very fresh in her career through the Ultimate Fighter.
Then left.
Washed out.
Then came back.
Yeah, well, really rebuilt her career. Came back on a tear. And fucking, deserves to be in the position she's in. But she also doesn't turn down fights. She doesn't pull out of fights.
Tough fight for anybody.
Yeah, they like to reward her. They gave her the hometown fight. They'll give her main events. This one isn't a hometown fight.
This is Apex.
Back, what was it? Fucking San Diego. It was like her hometown fight technically.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it's California. I'm probably way off the fucking mark here. Long day. We're a little baked. Excitement levels of 5.
Not to say that there aren't some good fights. To confirm, I actually think the main event is a good fight.
Yeah.
I'm just getting really tired of having fights that even the UFC, when they put together, kind of knew that's not a main event fight night fight.
Yeah.
And they've ended up, through different circumstances, being postponed and elevated. I don't mind if you bring a fight forward and elevate it, but postponing and elevating it kind of makes me feel like I'm being cheaped out.
Yeah, well, their current business model very much forces quantity over quality. So
here we are.
More to come.
There is still some decent fights. We will be discussing them. We would like to hear what your opinion is on what's going to happen in these fights. Please comment, like, subscribe, leave your picks and predictions. Tell us who you think is winning. With all of that out of the way, and coming off a victorious picks week for myself, 9 out of 12 compared to 7 out of 12 for yourself, feeling confident. We are only 2 fights different.
Yep.
So not a huge amount of separation, but let's get into this main event. Mackenzie Dern, Angela Hill. Really a classic striker versus grappler matchup. Mackenzie Dern's coming in. She does have some boxing, but is very aggressive with it. Certainly not technical.
She relies on the power a lot. Really
just uses it to crash in, cause chaos, close distance, and then use that proximity to get into a clinch and get to fight to her realm. Angela Hill, seasoned striker, has made improvements in the grappling, but it's still generally been a weakness for her. I kind of have to go Mackenzie Dern here.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Angie probably has got the ability to keep this fight standing for an entire round. At the second this fight hits the ground, I fear it's over quickly. And across a 5-round fight, I just think, the chance of Mackenzie Dern getting her down and finishing that fight quickly, it's like way too fucking high. I think it's like a 70% chance.
Caveat to say to that, though. If you look at the main events we've seen, I think we've had 2 main events from Mackenzie Dern so far. This would be the 3rd.
Something like that, yeah.
Lost both. In both situations, she doesn't really look like she can maintain her output for 5 rounds. The grappling slows down. Certainly after round 2, she seems to kind of lose faith and confidence with that. We saw that against Yan Xiaonan. We've seen that against Melina Rodriguez. Now, I don't think Angela Hill has got the takedown defense of those 2 fighters. But if she is going to have success, I definitely think it's going to be surviving those early 2 rounds and then putting the pressure on later in the fight. Rounds 3, rounds 4, rounds 5.
Yeah, if she can survive the first 3 rounds, she's got a really solid chance of winning that fight. But I don't think she gets outside the 3rd round. And although Dern Will Gas. Again, just because of the disparity in their skills on the ground, I think even a tired Mackenzie Dern in the 4th or 5th round is going to be capable of subbing her. It's just, as they get more tired, the chance of getting the fight to the ground might get simpler. Angie Overkill has to work harder than Mackenzie Dern does that entire fight to avoid getting taken down. She has to fight moving backwards.
You mean Angela Hill has to work harder than Mackenzie Dern?
Sorry, yeah. Angie has to work harder than Big Mac because she has to maintain that distance, that footwork. She has to constantly be moving. She's almost got to take 2 steps for every one that Dern takes because she's got to be in, out, and safe.
I'm curious to see what improvements we get from Mackenzie Dern's wrestling.
Yeah.
We've seen this at the elite level, or certainly the higher up level in this division, that she hasn't had the wrestling that really allows her to kind of fuse everything together and implement her best skill. It's very chaotic. It's very, let me get my hands on you, pull guard, try and flick you down.
Yeah.
It's been a few months since she's been in the cage. She's made some personal changes in her life. I hope that we see an improvement in that area. If she doesn't, this could be a bad... Angela Hill isn't going to give her anything for free. And I don't think the fight's over as quickly as you do if the fight gets to the ground. Angie's not great on the ground, but she's a hell of a survivor, man. She's almost impossible to finish. A lot of losses, but almost no finishes. Let me have a quick look at her record.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of heavy-handed fighters in that division, if we're being honest. But
True, but she's been taken down by some excellent fighters as well. I mean, Lupi Godinez, we all thought she was going to lose that fight.
Yeah.
Wins it. Vina Jandiroba, seriously dangerous.
Yeah.
She lost that fight, Angela Hill, but she didn't get subbed. Goes to 2021.
How many finishes has Jandiroba got, though?
Not many. But I'll tell you who has a lot of finishes, Amanda Lemos. Didn't finish, nor did Tisha Thompson, nor did Michelle Waterston, nor did Claudia Gadea. So, there's a lot of losses here, but we're talking about really good fighters. Yan Xiaonan didn't finish her. Jessica Andrade couldn't finish her. 5-round fight, if you don't mind your P's and Q's and you don't manage your energy, you're going to have somebody that I think could still be in there giving you a fight. And for Angela Hill, if she can just survive, like you say, those early parts of the fight, she'll get more confident as time goes on. I'm still picking Dern, even though I sound like I'm not, but I'm just trying to highlight that.
Well, yeah. We're just showing both sides of the coin here. The truth is that Angie has got the ability to keep this fight standing and win a decision. And she has the better cardio. It's just that she's going to have to use it because she is going to have to work harder than Dern. And for Dern, so much of it comes down to just not making the same stupid mistakes she usually makes. Not getting careless and over-aggressive in the stand-up, not making it easy for her to get hit. Really, she just wants to be patient and try and time counter shots, and more importantly, try and time, the right kind of level change when Angie's moving in, or when Angie's backed up too much and the fence is going to be her friend. Just being sensible. Demonstrates some modicum of fight IQ for this level. Because we don't think that she's not a dumb fighter.
No.
She is an intelligent fighter. It's just too much of a whole, look, all I got to do is get him down, so let's get him down, or all I got to do is land a couple of heavy shots and they'll be a completely different fighter. There's levels to the game. She went past the part where she should have learned how to do these things, how to not just have better wrestling, but to actually implement it intelligently across all phases of the game.
Well, also, I think she has the aggression for striking, but she's not experienced enough at it to have patience.
Yeah. But even then, it's not even like having like patience in the pocket or anything. It's just like the little bit of like, okay, look, just throw a jab and stay out again.
Yeah.
Just simple stuff you can pick up in a couple months. That I don't think it's that I imagine she trains the correct way and she's not like training like a dickhead. But when she actually gets to fight night and the adrenaline's going and everything, and you can't really hear anyone anymore, I'm pretty sure that like whole thought of all I got to do is take him down starts creeping in.
Well, either way, we're going to find out. It should be an entertaining fight, although it should not be a main event. Moving down to our co-main, return of Edmund Shabazian, taking on Anthony Hernandez, Fluffy, who has certainly started putting a bit of respect on his name from the fans. Last couple of fights. Obviously, the Rodolfo Vieira sub was very nice. Followed that up with, is that 1 or 2 fights he's had since?
He has had 2 fights since.
Both wins.
Yeah, Power Bar and Josh Fremd.
Both, well, certainly Power Bar's a good win to have. Josh Fremd got a good win in his last fight, so showing that he's a talented guy. Shabazian is a different animal, though. Like, this is this guy that knocked out Brad Tavares in, like, 45 seconds. Like a minute and a half. So, he's a talented striker. Had his quick rise. Got ranked way higher than on merit. Kind of paid the cost for that by fighting people he wasn't ready for. Dropped back down. Did get the win against, was it Lungiambula?
Yeah, Lungiambula.
He didn't look great in that fight, though, I've got to be honest. And Doucher's not the easiest fight, but we're not exactly talking about somebody high level. Well, it's a hard fight. If you're picking based on like the highest ability you've seen in there, you'd probably go Edmund. If you're thinking more along the lines of consistency and form, it's going to be Anthony Hernandez. End of the day, I'm going to go Anthony Hernandez. Yeah. You can take the fight to the ground. The cardio's there. You can put pressure on. I think Edmund Shabazian can flag. Yeah, I'm going Fluffy.
Yeah, also, like, you know, his only really kind of wins of note are Brad Tavares and Darren Stewart. You know, despite how high he got ranked and everything, I feel like Hernandez has kind of put in as good, if not a slightly better body of work within the UFC. Gotta be Fluffy.
More well-rounded. Can take the fight to the ground, can bring that element into it. Decent co-main event, though. Certainly a decent co-main event. Don't worry, guys. The good fights are running out very soon. Emily Ducote was made to be taking on Poliana Viana. Lupi Godinez, who is becoming the female Kevin Holland. Never turns down a fight. Fighting every 2 months is stepping in. And I'm going Lupi Godinez. I think this match...
Yeah, what weight are they actually doing this at? It's not, it's a catch weight.
It's a catch weight. I'm guessing 130.
Yeah, I'm going Lupi as well.
Easy peasy. Next up, I believe, is Fiallo.
Yeah.
Taking on the welterweight, Joaquin Buckley. We've been kind of saying this for a while, so I'm glad to see him finally down at this weight. And my theory is that this could be a really talented fighter at this weight class.
I hope so.
He's a bit too small for middleweight. The only factor that does come into it for strikers is sometimes being a bit more small and explosive and a bit faster means that you can catch some of these guys. At welterweight, he might not have the same speed advantage, but I don't think he's going to get bullied in the grappling in the same way. And against Fiallo, I think he knocks him out.
Yeah, Fiallo is a good striker, smart striker, and he's like a volume power puncher, but
he's a good boxer.
Yeah, he's not super technical or defensive at all times. I just feel like he's not the biggest welterweight. Buckley's probably going to retain a lot of power and size coming down. If Buckley can be a very lean, nimble, agile guy at welterweight and still have a lot of that strength, I just think it's going to be a bad night for Fiallo.
I think the key for Buckley is look at the guys that move down in weight and get it wrong. You're not just going to necessarily bully people just because you've gone down. You can't change how intelligently you fight. Don't think that you can just stand in the pocket, trade punches, not think about your defense. As long as he doesn't do that, I think he gets the win.
That's, you know, you cutting all that weight, sometimes it does make you a little more susceptible to the knockdown or the knockout.
That's the other factor, does the chin hold up? I don't think that's going to be an issue with Buckley because it doesn't seem like he was really cutting that much for 185. I mean, he was weighing like 183 for most of his wins. That's not a lot.
No. Anyway,
okay.
That's one where I'm actually a little excited for, but we'll see.
Bit of a vets fight to kick the main card off. Diego Ferreira taking on Michael Johnson. Interesting style matchup. It's just a bad matchup for Michael Johnson.
Yeah.
Even at his heyday, in his prime, this would have been a bad style matchup for him.
Yeah. And even in his heyday and his prime, he lost half his fucking fights. It's just, I'm not shitting on Michael Johnson, but
we're picking Diego.
Yeah, he's got this fight because Diego is on a bad skin.
Makes sense.
And he's a gamer. He probably wants to take a fight like this. This is not the fight for him.
Nope. My pick's Diego. Your pick's Diego. We're on to the prelims. Hayaser Mahasheti taking on Slava Claus. I'm going Mahasheti.
Yeah, same. I do like Slava's style. I think it's going to be, he does tend to put on good fights. He's just not really showing that he's necessarily cut out for this level. So,
couldn't agree more.
Mahasheti.
Karolina Kowalkiewicz.
I'll go Kovacevic. I'm a fucking expert.
Versus Vanessa Demopoulos. God damn you Greeks, you just pronounce it as it's spelt. Gotta love it. Karolina is kind of coming back. A little bit. She had that awful losing streak, and now she's on a 2-fight winning streak. The last one is decently respectable, but Vanessa Demopoulos has shown herself in the UFC so far to just have this ability to win fights that from losing positions.
Yeah, little monster by name, little monster by nature.
Deceptively good on the ground, decent top pressure, dangerous submissions, can pull an armbar out of anywhere, and she's a former stripper, so she's tough. She actually wrote the book on stripping. She wrote a book about how to be a stripper that became a bestseller.
The book, though?
It's considered the standard, like the industry standard book on stripping.
Fair. Why's she fighting? She's got a bestseller.
Because Poles don't pay the bills.
Nah, but fucking right, mate.
Yeah, maybe it didn't make as money as much as she thought, but I just thought that's an interesting deal. Very open about it. Proud of her stripping days. Says it gave her all of the core strength that she needs for MMA.
Yep, I can see that.
There's other ways to get it, but she's not wrong. Okay, Orion Kosuke taking on tough alumni Gilbert Urbina.
Yeah,
This is an easy pick for me. The Kosuke brothers are good, and Gilbert Urbina only really got into the UFC from Tough because Tristan Gore got injured for the Tough finale, and he got to step in against Battle as the replacement finalist. He lost that fight. He's still been given an opportunity, and I don't see him winning it. I'm going Kosuke.
Same.
Heavyweights. Ilir Latifi is fighting monsters again that are way too big for him. He is fighting Rodrigo Nascimento. The smart pick is Rodrigo, but I'm going little Tifi. Because he's hard to knock out, and he's a good wrestler, and he's scrappy, and he just finds a way to get results. And he's already won a fight at heavyweight, and he only lost by decision to Derek Lewis. So I'm backing this crazy Swedish motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm going Rodrigo Nascimento.
These are fights the only two we're different on, and they're back to back.
Yeah.
Chase Hooper returns, taking on Nick Fiore. I want to qualify this before I say this. I like Chase Hooper. But it's like good performance, bad performance, good performance, bad performance. Sometimes 2 fights in a row where he just looks like he's nowhere near ready. He's completely out of his depth. So I'm going Nick Fiore. But I might live to regret that. I could easily see Chase winning this. Apparently Fiore's more of a grappler. But I'm going Nick Fiore.
I'm going Chase Hooper.
And to round the card up...
Oh, we've got 2 more, I think.
2 more. Natalia Silva taking on Victoria Leonardo. I don't know why they put this fight together, because I feel like Silva has shown enough to be at a higher level of opponent than Victoria Leonardo. This is the opponent they've given her. I expect Silva to win. I think she's a really exciting prospect.
Yeah.
A really exciting prospect. That might just be a bit too small for flyweight at the highest level. But right now, I think she's got all the skills in the world to tear through people. And I think she puts on a real performance tonight, on Saturday.
Yeah, Couldn't agree more.
First fight on the card, last fight on our picks. Takashi Sato is back. He is taking on Themba Gorimbo, who I am picking to win this fight because he's got a cool name.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go with Gorimbo as well, but yeah, to be honest, excitement levels are 1. So, soz guys.
There are fights to be excited about. They're just swished in between fights I couldn't give any less of a fuck about. And unfortunately, this is leading into a bit of a shit run. But we will still be here to discuss it. We'll be
It's
back.
going to be better than anything you're going to see the following week.
There you go. We'll be back to discuss all the results next week on the podcast. Until then, guys, have a great rest of your week. Enjoy the fights. Bye, Dave. Bye, Laurie. Bye, Trifo.
Bye, Laurie. Bye, Dave.